Alright, live on YouTube, starting us up on Rumble. Good afternoon, welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm Xander. You, of course, are you viewer. Thank you so much for coming in and watching. Double checking to see if volume levels are adequate. Yes, we will be joined by the Golden Loot here shortly. Today is, of course, what is today? Sun's Day, aka Sunday, March 15th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important occurrences throughout the records of history. On this calendar date, starting with the year 474 BC, Roman consul Aulus Manlius Vulso celebrated an ovation for concluding the war against Veii and securing a 40 years truce. Nice. 200 BC, the Roman Republic, under its new consuls Publius Sulpicius Galba and Gaius Aurelius Cotta, declared war on Philip V of Macedon, starting the Second Macedonian War. That's not good. 44 BC, we have here the Ides of Rome. Julius Caesar was stabbed to death by Brutus, Cassius, and several other Roman senators on the Ides of Rome, or on the Ides of March in Rome. So the dictator of the Roman Republic was assassinated by a group of senators. Yep, the Ides of March. Why keep trying to say the Ides of Rome? The Ides of March. Am I having a stroke already? Yeah. 351, Constantius II elevated his cousin Gallus to Caesar and put him in charge of the eastern part of the Roman Empire. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you just missed Julius Caesar's assassination.
Oh, I heard it, yeah.
Yeah, but I just remembered I have this picture here. Caesar
what is
salad.
that?
It's a Caesar salad. Yeah. What else do we got here? 493, King of the Ostrogoths, Theodoric the Great, murdered King Ottokar of Italy with his sword at a banquet in Ravenna. That's not nice.
No.
But it says here from the other source here, Ottokar, the first barbarian king of Italy after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, was slain by Theodoric the Great, king of the Ostrogoths, while the two kings were feasting together. So, he was a barbarian king after the fall of Rome, and he lived by the sword and died by the sword. 1311, Battle of Halmyros, Canton Company defeated the Frankish Duchy of Athens and its vassals, led by Walter V of Brienne, to take control of the Duchy of Athens, a crusader state in Greece. They took a crusader state.
We've got a lot of wars and killings going on.
Well, that happens all the time.
Yeah,
It's just, it happens.
History. It's history.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, it happens so often, it's actually difficult to, figure out, okay, is this worth the show or is it not?
Yeah.
And that last article was, in my opinion, because they took a crusader state. That's kind of, something. So, 1391, anti-Semite monk in Seville, Spain, stirred up people to attack Jews. Now, I want to, ensure that the viewers know Semite does not only mean Jews. It also means Arabs, Christians.
Yes.
It's Semitic people are people of an area of a world, not an ethnic, group. So,
right.
Whenever people use anti-Semite, they actually mean anti-Jewish, because...
But that's not what it means.
What do you mean?
Well, it can mean any race. It doesn't have to mean anti-Jew.
Well, no. What I'm saying is the anti-Semitism, the term, is used when describing somebody who's doing things against Jews.
Oh, yes, okay.
And for some reason, Semites, which are a diverse group of people, more than just Jews... Right. Now, if we use the word Semite, we only think of Jews.
Right. Okay.
So, whenever somebody says anti-Semite, they think anti-Jew, even though that's incorrect.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to ensure that the viewers know the truth.
Okay.
And if you don't believe me, once again, look it up yourself. Don't listen to anything I say, as fact. Use me, if anything, as a stepping stone on your own path to self-education. 1412, Treaty of Libloa, after the Peace of Thorn, Grand Master Heinrich von Plauen and Sigismund of Hungary, asked Sigismund of Hungary for economic aid. Hold on a second, I totally screwed up spelling some of these here. Sigismund agreed to mediate reduction up to the third installment, demarcation of the Smagotian border, and other matters with a grand tournament. Hunts and lavish feasts were also organized. Sigismund invited, among others, Polish King Vladio Jagiello, Heinrich von Plauen, and Bosnian King Tvrkoto II. There were people from 17 countries and languages, 40,000 nobles, and 2,000 knights were present all over Europe, even England. Or from all over Europe, and even England. Now, England is part of Europe, so that's kind of a weird thing to add in there. I didn't even realize there were 40,000 nobles in total. You know, but that can't be every single one of them. That's crazy. 1493, Christopher Columbus returned to Spain after his first voyage to the New World. Half a millennia ago, 5 centuries, 1526. Wow. French Dauphin Francis and his brother Henry were exchanged as hostages for their father Francis I, beginning of 4 years of captivity in Spain under the Treaty of Madrid. That's awful. 3 years later, we had the Second Diet of Spire convened, condemned, and attempted to reverse the 1526 Diet of Spire's relaxation to ban on Luther's technologies. Official protest to attempted reversal on April 25th created the term Protestantism. Oh. So this is a derivative, where it derives from. Yeah. 1564, Mughal Emperor Akbar, the Admiral Akbar, it's a trap, so abolished the jizya tax on non-Muslim subjects. Jizya tax. What the heck is that? Sounds. Oh, that's a weird word. So, enter. There we go. Jizya is a type of taxation levied on non-Muslim subjects of a state government by Islamic law. Okay, so basically.
So they're taxing people that are non-Muslims?
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you know, so much for the religion of peace and love, right? So what was this called? Jizya tax. Jizya. Yeah. And for this and all the other links that I'm going to be collecting throughout the show, please check the underbar of the description. They will be down there after the live stream, of course. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 1580, King Philip II put 25,000 gold coins on the head of Prince William I of Orange. That sounds like a hit.
Yeah, it sure does.
1626, 4 centuries ago, I forgot to mark that there, a dam failure caused the sudden flooding of the mining city of Potsdam in present-day Bolivia, leading to the deaths of thousands and the massive release of toxic mercury into the environment. Yikes. 1672, King Charles II of England enacted the Declaration of Indulgence in an unsuccessful attempt to extend religious liberty to Protestant nonconformists and Roman Catholics in his realms, essentially granting limited religious freedoms to all Christians. So, 1729, Sister St. Stanislaus Hatcher, the first U.S., or I guess the first American nun, this is well before a revolution, took her vows in New Orleans. That's cool. 1770, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, at the age of 14, completed his string quartet number 1, K80, in its original 3-movement form on March 15th, 1770, while touring in Lodi, Lombardy, Duchy of Milan.
I don't quite get that, but...
Well, it was Mozart. This was... At the age of 14, he completed this string quartet, music number 14. He's writing. Yeah. Well, then again, Beethoven, wasn't he writing things at 12 or something?
I don't know.
Some of these music prodigies, they're called prodigies for a reason. 1781, Battle of Guilford Courthouse. British troops under Cornwallis defeated American forces, but their heavy losses led to ceding of territory and a strategic loss. So they won, but they ended up losing just because of the cost. In an emotional speech in 1783 in Newburgh, New York, George Washington asked his officers not to support the Newburgh conspiracy, preventing the threatened coup d'etat. Dude, there were so many times that Washington could have been taken out in one way or another, and I'm not talking about killed or whatever, but removed from power.
Oh yeah, taking over the government.
Yeah, just when you learn more things about the revolution and stuff leading up to it and all that stuff, and Washington, his early career, he was a failure of a general. A lot of people questioned him, a lot of people mocked him. During his time, I think he was kind of underappreciated, and it wasn't really until later that
happens a lot.
Yeah, but when you really put all of that into account, it kind of sort of is a miracle that this country even made it. That we even became what we did, because every possible failure that could have happened almost did. It's really crazy when you know more things about history. 1812, the first Russian settlement in California at Russian River. I've heard about that. 1820, Maine admitted as the 23rd state of the Union, U.S. state. 1823, sailor Benjamin Morrell erroneously reported the existence of the island of New South Greenland near Antarctica. We haven't gotten to that picture yet. And
I know what that was.
You do?
Of course.
But yeah, no, there's some island that has been documented by not one but multiple cartographers way back in hundreds of years ago, and that island is now gone. And there's a whole mystery about it and all that stuff. It's interesting stuff to dive into. Some people thought that it might have been like loam, like volcanic rock or whatever that's slightly porous, so it's floating on the surface in a clump. But we're talking about like a landmass that was confirmed to be there in size and shape and location over the course of several hundred years, by several different people.
Yeah.
Like people on ships, people making maps, people just documenting as they go whatever that they were doing, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and then you start thinking about things like Atlantis and all that stuff, so anyway, 1848, a revolution broke out in Hungary. The Habsburg rulers were compelled to meet the demands of the Reform Party. No matter what, the global elite wealthy people and everything, at the end of the day they have to listen to we the people, and we the people have got to work together now more than ever. These days. 1855, Louisiana established the first health board to regulate quarantine. All right,
Quarantine from disease, I guess.
Well, yeah. 1867, Michigan became the first state to tax property to support a university. Great. Thank you, Michigan.
There's the camel's nose.
Yeah. 1874, France and Vietnam signed the Second Treaty of Saigon, further recognizing the full sovereignty of France over Cochinchina. It's an interesting word there. 1869, Cincinnati Red Stockings became baseball's first professional team with 10 salaried players. Eventually become the Red Sox, I believe, by the name.
Yes.
Okay. 1875, first U.S. Cardinal John McCloskey was invested. So Archbishop of New York, John McCloskey, was named the first cardinal in the United States. It's cool. 1875, we got that one. 1877, here we go. Cricket's inaugural test match commences. Australia played England at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Australia won by 45 runs in 4 days. So I still don't really know if cricket was a British or an Australian invention.
I'm going with British. We have to find that out at some point.
You know what? I'm going to look this up. Who invented cricket sports? Let's see here. History of cricket. England. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go.
It's just older.
Yeah.
It's been established way longer.
But yeah, so from the other source, the first ever official cricket test match was played Australia versus England at the MCG Stadium in Melbourne, Australia. And must have been that match there, because we have Australian batsman Charles Bannerman in that same year, same day, completed first test century in cricket history and first test versus England in Melbourne, retired hurt on 165 the following day. Well, he made it to the beginning, at least. 1887, the first salary...
He made it to the beginning does not make sense.
Hey, what does about cricket? Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
Perfect. Yeah,
See?
perfect.
1887, first salaried fish and game warden, William Allen Smith in Michigan. Okay. 1888, the Laboe bombing was one of the first attacks of the Ides attendants, lasting from 1892 to 1894. Now that's interesting, because this was 4 years before this event that they're talking about. This was 1888, and this was, it says, was one of the first attacks on the event of that's called Ides attendants, which started in 1892 and lasted until 1894. This started 4 years after this. And I initially was not going to cover this article, but we will be talking about this again, interestingly enough. But first, 1889 here, 6 U.S. and German warships were sunk by a typhoon in Apia Harbor, Samoa. 200 died.
Wow.
I wonder, though, between those 6, how many were U.S. and how many were German? And between the deaths, how many were U.S. and German? So... And here we go. Actually, no, we're not there yet. 1892, the first escalator patented by U.S. engineer Jesse Reno was first used at Old Iron Pier, Coney Island, New York City. Oh, and that's the cricket right there we had. And this is the first escalator. It's not that long. You can see, and this was actually a ride, the very first escalator. And I do have a video about it. The title is called "Why Do Escalator Steps Have Teeth?" and everything. And I kind of find it annoying because this is kind of clickbaity, but it does give me a really good history, but it gets to a while about teeth, probably, as more information builds up and all that stuff. But escalators, essentially, this escalator on Coney Island was just a ride to exhibit this technology.
See what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the guy's name again?
Let's see here. Where'd it go? There it is. Jesse Reno.
Reno?
1892.
So, why didn't we call it the Reno? After him, after the founder of it. So many things we name after somebody that invented it.
Well, I think it had like a different, more complex name, and it was later called an escalator for simplicity.
Yeah. Well, it escalates you up. I get that, but so many things we name after the inventor, he got screwed.
Well, why didn't we call the elevator the Otis?
Same thing.
Yeah, but see, and for the same argument, because you say it escalates you up, well, it also brings you down. The elevator also brings you down.
Yeah.
You know, so the names of those two inventions only express half of their actual functionality,
True.
Which is kind of ridiculous.
But it was if the elevator was called the Otis, it would be very natural to us today.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start calling
Take
those.
the Otis.
Let's take the Otis. What? Oh, hey, can you meet me at the Reno? What? Like, we gotta make a mental note. We gotta start doing that. Like, so, 1892, New York State unveiled automatic ballot booth, a voting machine.
I'm sorry, what was that?
New York State unveiled automatic ballot booth, a voting machine.
Oh,
What is
okay.
this?
Oh, that's Olinda.
Oh, okay. 1894, Madeline bombing by Desiree Paunoise during the Air des Attendants. That's what I was talking about. So this is near the end in 1894. So 2 articles on the same calendar date about that event. And I never even heard about it, but I just thought, you know what? There's a sign. There's 2 articles almost right next to each other about the same thing that's very kind of obscure. I should probably bring it to light in some kind of way. 1887, first indoor fly casting tournament began, or opened, at Madison Square Garden. So, you know, I think fly fishing.
Do you know what it is?
Well, I think so. Like fly casting, it sounds like.
It's, you got a little, the bait, but it's a little fly on it.
Yeah.
And then it's like lands in the water, and fish will come up and try to get that fly.
Yeah, well, you're also like doing that and moving and everything.
Yeah,
like,
because you have it keep landing.
Yeah.
They get them when they land.
Yeah. I've never fly fished before, but
I'm
you know, mildly aware of it. So.
Yeah.
I kind of tried it a little bit, you know, back in the day when I fished.
Lake?
Yeah, way back in the day when I fished
Well, that's a
often.
cool time to do it.
Yeah. So, 1906, Britain's Henry Rolls, Charles Royce, and Claude Johnson formalized their existing partnership as Rolls-Royce Limited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, no, that's not Rolls-Royce. 1907, Finland was the first European country to give women the right to vote. Hell yeah!
Way to go,
Hell
Finland.
yeah! Yeah, at the time, the Grand Duchy of Finland. So the first parliamentary elections of Finland at the time the Grand Duchy of Finland were held. So not only where's that the first parliamentary elections in Finland, it sounds like, but women were allowed to vote for the first one. That's a double awesome there.
Yeah.
1912, legendary pitcher Cy Young retired from baseball with a 511 to 315 win-loss record. Not bad. 1913, the first U.S. presidential press conference held by Woodrow Wilson. I don't like that guy, but the events needs to be mentioned.
Yeah.
We also have Cleveland established the first small claims court.
Oh,
Yeah, camel's nose. We were talking about how lawsuit hungry our society is these days this morning, remember? So maybe, here we go. Another type of camel's nose there. 1915, Carl Laemmle opened the film studio Universal Pictures Hollywood in the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles. Universal Studios.
Wow.
It's a small picture, but you can see the old Adobe style, mission style architecture. Capital of the film world, the Model T, entrance to the City of Wonders. Yeah, it was interesting. We went to that museum a couple weeks back.
Which museum?
The one that we tried to go to the top of, and it freaked me out and everything.
Oh yeah.
But they had that one huge model, and with the 3D projection thing on it or whatever, and then it started adding more things to the map. Mm-hmm. And when this was opening, when this happened, I wanted to I'd love to go back there just to stand there and just watch that map for an hour alone.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And then that Toy Story thing, the spinning thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
cool.
that blew my mind,
man. That was cool.
Yeah. 1916, General Pershing and 15,000 troops chased Pancho Villa into Mexico.
Yeah.
I remember we spoke a week or so ago when
Pancho
Villa came up, it attacked, San Antonio in Texas or whatever, and then occupied it and then left. before troops got there. So this, I think, we were chasing him down. It says here, from the other source, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson sent 4,800 U.S. troops over the U.S.-Mexico border to pursue Pancho Villa. So I'm just wondering why there is a massive discrepancy here. The primary source says 15,000, and the other source says 4,800. That's 10,200 difference. That's a substantial amount.
Not even close.
I wonder though, like if this is the difference, like if only they could send 4,800 over the actual border. I don't know the politics of the situation,
I don't know why the number would be. If you go in, you shouldn't be. You're basically invading another country.
Well,
4,000 or 15,000.
Well, Pancho Villa invaded us first.
I got that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering, like, why, like, the only thing that makes sense are the politics, but then why are we listening to the politics? Why do we care? It's war. 1917, the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II, abdicated and nominated his brother, Grand Duke Mikhail, to succeed him. March 2nd being the old style. Yeah, we spoke about this back then. When it said the new style is March 15th. Ending the 304-year Romanov dynasty. Wow.
Yeah.
It toppled by communism.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I was young, but I was alive when the Soviet Union themselves collapsed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little celebration there. 1919, U.S. Legion formed, or I guess the American Legion formed in Paris. I wonder if that's anything to do with the French Foreign Legion. 1919 as well, Ukrainian War of Independence. The Kontrrazavada was established as the counterintelligence division of the Revolutionary Insurgent Army of Ukraine. 1921, Talat Pasha, a former Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire and chief architect of the Armenian genocide, was assassinated in Berlin by a 23-year-old Armenian, Sogohoman Talerian. Yeah. So,
now, the Armenian, they were genocide against the Armenians, right?
I think the Armenians were genocided.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way they say that is like the Armenians were doing it.
Well, no, like.
Armenian genocide. Okay, no.
No, like it was a genocide of Armenians, and the guy who killed this Grand Vizier, he was a chief architect of said genocide, was killed by somebody of the very same people that he was genociding, if I'm reading this correctly. 1922, first Southern radio station began, WSB Atlanta, Georgia. And we also have France, which up until now had insisted on currency for all World War I reparation payments from Germany, now accepted raw materials as payments. I mean, if you still want something, but the debtor has no money.
Attitude towards Germany impoverished them so bad, it opened the door for Hitler.
Yeah, absolutely. 1922 as well, Sultan Fahd was crowned king of Egypt. England recognized Egypt. So Fahd I became king of Egypt after Egypt gained nominal independence from the UK. Vladimir Lenin in 1923 suffered his third stroke. All right. 1 century ago, 1926, Belgium's Black Monday, franc fell. I guess the value of their franc.
That's what it sounds like.
No, wait a minute. Belgium uses francs, but franc is French, right? Franc was French. Did Belgium use the franc, or did they not have the
franc?
Oh,
Canadians have the dollar. But it's not our dollar.
True. It just sounds like, franc, France. It's almost the same, So, 1926, 1 century ago as well, 6-mile car ferry service route opened between Portsmouth, England, and Fishbourne on the Isle of Wight. Another 26, the dictator Theodorus Pangalonis was elected president of Greece without opposition. 27, the first women's boat race occurred, in which the University of Oxford and University of Cambridge competed on the Isis in Oxford. I guess the Isis River. Here's a photo of that. Yeah. 1928, Benito Mussolini modified Italy electoral system, abolishing the right to choose. Love it.
That sounds like him.
Yep. 1930, the first seaplane glider flown at Port Washington, New York. All right. And, nope, we're not there yet. 1930, I guess we are there now. 1930, the first streamlined submarine of U.S. Navy, USS Nautilus, was launched. Here's a photo of that. And thankfully, I found a colored photo. That's cool. With all this AI slop now, I've actually, there's been a lot of times now, it's not countless, but it's happened at least a dozen or 2 dozen times now, where I'm researching writing, and I find this phenomenal photo, but then I look at it, and it turns out to be AI. I'm like, you son of a gun. I want historical accuracy.
Yeah.
Give
us the actual...
I don't want.
You're talking history. You want to see the real thing.
Yes.
It means a lot.
Yeah. Like you know what? Like there has to be something now. Like with image search and search, there has to be now a segregation between human and AI made stuff online. There has to be discernment across the board on every website, every search engine. Whenever you image search everything, you have an option to include or not allow AI generated images. That has to be a thing now. Well, I'm not saying it is. I mean, I'm saying they need it. They need to make it a thing.
I remember going up to an area in Arizona where it was a mining town, and they had a small museum there, and I just got so fascinated because they had the real pictures.
Yes.
Of real men or women.
Mm-hmm. Mostly
captured
men.
in that time. Mostly men. Yeah, but they might have had some women pictures. But around the mine, all men.
Yeah.
But it just fascinates you. You're looking at these pictures, and it's the real thing. And when you're talking history, it makes such a difference.
Speaking of mostly men, like I just find it so interesting that in today's world, there's so many women demanding equality, but the line to sign up for a job at a coal mine, or a sulfur manufacturing or a steel mill, it's just empty. They don't discriminate, but I don't see them flocking there. It's almost as if they're cherry picking. Weird.
There's a whole debate on TV about women's sports and men's sports, and men playing in women's sports. And this one woman, I was using an idiot, says, "Well, whatever. I don't know what sport she said, but I would have loved to have a man on our team because it would have made us better." And blah blah blah. And I go, "You dumb idiot! How would you like 20 or 30 of them, and none of you women make the team?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. One you would love, 30 you probably would.
Another example of the camel's nose under the tent.
Yeah. Oh. Sure, you'd like one, but don't give me 10 because then I can't play.
Yeah. I mean, they're going around talking about, men oppressing them. Well, you're letting them do it. 1931, the SS Viking exploded off Newfoundland, killing 27 of the 147 on board. Yikes. It's never good when a ship just explodes, 33, the NAACP began coordinated attack on segregation and discrimination. Attack kind of sounds a little violent, but, I agree with the sentiment, that those things should end, segregation, discrimination. We're all people, Yeah. We also have Austrian Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss, that sounds like an insult, keeps members of the National Council from convening, starting the Austro-fascist dictatorship. Yikes. 34, the U.S. Information Service opened. What is the U.S. Information Service? Is that like 411 or something? That's... I've never heard of such a thing. Is that something... United States Information Agency. Okay, USIA. Huh. Here we go. Was a United States government agency devoted to propaganda, which operated from 1953 to 1999. The agency's primary mission was to promote a favorable view of the United States abroad, focusing exclusively on international. And we think we're so much better than the freaking Nazis. Oh my goodness. Yeah, USIA. Isn't that physically sickening? What the hell? And it says dissolved in 99, but I know it wasn't really dissolved. It was just moved somewhere else to...
Went underground, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean...
Yeah. All right.
I mean, there's more modern examples like Facebook changing their name to Meta, Google, creating Alphabet so that way if anything happens, Google doesn't get hurt, Alphabet does, all that stuff. But 100-something years ago, there was the Banana Wars, which I think it's either Dole or Cicada or one of the banana companies. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's one of the two that I mentioned. But there essentially slave labor. And in South America, in that area of banana plantations and everything, and there was an actual war, the gunfighting, people died and everything, and that company resolved the situation, everything, but then they changed their name to what we know it now as I said, either Dole or Cicada or something that's still around today. So one of these companies that's still around today has literal blood on its hands, and just because they changed the name, nobody talks about it. All it takes is a generation or two, and then people are none the wiser. This is why history is so important. Even if something is wrong, well, at least you're thinking about it, and then you can go follow that pursuit of thoughts and figure out what the truth is. You know, things need to be held accountable for their actions. And having something that, you know, propaganda in the U.S., land of the free, home of the brave, ridiculous. 37, First State Contraceptive Clinic opened in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay. And we also have the first U.S. blood bank in a hospital was opened at Cook County Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. Cook County. Why does that name sound so familiar? Isn't that where?
I don't know why.
Isn't that Cook County, Chicago? Isn't that where what's his face got shot?
I don't know.
Charlie Kirk?
No, he got shot in Utah.
Okay, Cook County.
Just sounded when it rang a bell when you said it. I don't know why.
Cook County, Illinois.
They're not going to tell you anything that's going to...
Well, let me just check news really quick, see if that comes out with anything.
No, just something that sounded familiar.
Sounds very familiar. 1939, Adolf Hitler summoned Czech President Emil Hácha to a meeting in Berlin and informed him of the impending attack by Germany. Hácha suffered a heart attack and later capitulated. Germany occupied and annexed Czechoslovakia, reigning on the Munich Agreement. Or reneging on the Munich Agreement.
Reneging is...
Reneging, yeah. I read that as reigning. No, reneging, okay.
Gee, what a surprise.
Yeah. Yikes, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, like, it's a little weird that he suffered a heart attack. It's just like, dude, you're being...
Well, that's what I was thinking when you were reading it.
Well, like, you're being summoned by Hitler, who's doing Hitler things, and then you're going to be surprised enough to have a heart attack? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
1939, Carpatho, Ukraine declared itself an independent republic, but was annexed by Hungary the next day. Well, they tried. 1940, Hermann Göring said that 100 to 200 church bells are enough for Germany and melted down the rest. Now, there's this whole conspiracy. Here we go again with me and my conspiracies. Oh, we have a comment here, toxic masculinity. 1892, when it all started going to shit. Trying to remember specifically what you're talking about with that 1892 thing here. But yeah, no, with the bells, there's this whole thing going on about, like, you know, you're aware of harmonic frequency and all that jazz. And now... There's a whole thing about the architecture of cathedrals and churches, the harmonic frequencies of bells, the ringing and everything. It has something to do with harmonizing with your own body's, you know, thing, and healing frequencies and all that stuff. And as I said, it sounds very woo-woo, but with how the world is today, nothing makes sense, so might as well let everything be a possibility until you can discern more, you know, on your own without listening to supposed authoritative figures telling you what and how to think. But anyway, it's interesting that during World War II, like, you know, Germany did this all across the world. You know, Europe had so many bells and so many things, and then so many of these things got bombed, so many of the bells got melted down to make bullets and tanks and everything. For the war efforts, and then just just things are different, like how people, like, we became more reliant on pharmaceuticals and pills and this and that, and people are, you know, are a lot more aggressive, and it just the way the world carries itself. And I'm not talking because of a different time or different technologies, just the attitude of people and how they act and interact, regardless of technology level or anything like that. Something has changed. Since,
no question.
You know, and
no question.
You know,
I've been around long enough to see the difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about since even, like, well before you and all that stuff.
Oh, of course.
But, like, this whole thing, you know, with the melting down of bells is very interesting. You know, like,
they're doing something in a big giant bell shape as far as harmonics and anti-gravity. They didn't quite get it, but they had some weird. I remember some old footage.
It kind of, sort of. Oh, you're thinking of the Der Glocke, the bell from Germany, Nazi Germany. Yeah. That's something else. No, that's something else. But
it is
maybe
something else. Maybe it's still a bell.
Yeah. Well, the bell. It's called the bell.
Made me think of it.
Yeah. But no, like, what I'm talking about is something like, you know, kind of coinciding with the mud flood, a previous reset and hiding of ancient advanced technology to keep us, you know, in some kind of, you know, like a non-powerful position. Like, so anyway, 1941, Philippine Airlines entered service, making the airline the first and oldest commercial airline in Asia operating under its original name. And if it's still around today, Philippine Airlines, it's still, you know, the first, not just the oldest, but the first. And they're still going if they are. Actually, you know what? Let me see if they are. So, Philippine Airlines.
Oh, my buddy isn't taking that over to the Philippines tonight. He shoots out tonight. What was on the Philippine Airlines?
It's still going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
My sarcasm is left flat.
Well, no, like
I'm sure it's a fine airline.
Oh no, but no, it has to be. I mean, like it has been. First off, it's been operating since 1941.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, toxic masculinity here is here. Let me show you what he's writing here. Reduce the bells, shift the frequency, dampen the vibe. Yeah, so he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, like not only is it's been operating since 41, but it's the oldest one it's the first one in Asia and also the oldest by being the first. 1943, Red Army evacuated Kharkov during World War II, the Third Battle of Kharkov. The Germans retake the city of Kharkov from the Soviet armies in bitter street fighting. Escape from Kharkov. 1945, as a symbol of wartime baseball, Bert Shepard, a one-legged World War II veteran, began a successful tryout as a pitcher for the Washington Senators.
Wow.
Yeah. 45 as well, Billboard published the first album chart. King Cole Trio was #1. All right. So the Billboard, top 10, top whatever, this is when they started. 46, British Prime Minister Clement Attlee agreed with India's right to independence. All right. 47, John Lee appointed the first black commissioned officer in the U.S. Navy. Congratulations.
Yeah.
49, cricket's master batsman Don Bradman received his knighthood from the Governor General of Australia, the Aussie Honourable W.J. McKeel, at the investiture in Queen's Hall, Parliament House, Melbourne. 1950, New York City hired Dr. Wallace E. Howell as its official rainmaker to help end a crippling water shortage for the princely sum, I guess, and pricely, of $100 a day.
Whoa.
Wow, in 1950, that's...
What if they got them rain? That price is better.
Yeah. 1951, United Nations forces recaptured Seoul, the fourth and final time the city changed hands in the Korean War. Wow. Back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, yeah, they were
yeah.
up and down that peninsula.
Do we have any comments on Rumble?
Back.
No?
Both ways.
1952, greatest 24-hour rainfall began 187 centimeters at La Reunion, Indian Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, and it says here in Salos Reunion, we have 1,870 millimeters or 73 inches of rain fell in a 24-hour period, setting a new record March 15th through March 16th. So that's a lot. Hold on a second. 73, that's the wrong button. Calculator, there we go. 73 divided by 12 equals 6 feet and change. So
24 hours.
In 24 hours, so it would be like, this deep if I stood up.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
It didn't drain.
Yikes. Yeah. Like a problem we recently fixed. 1955, U.S. Air Force unveiled self-guided missile. All right, we have a picture of a missile here. Well, not sure if that's the same make and model of it, but, whatever. 1958, Royals basketball star Maurice Stokes collapsed during a playoff game with encephalitis. He went into a coma and was permanently disabled. Jeez. Man. Encephalitis, that sounds familiar. Syphilis.
Yeah.
Encephalitis?
I believe that's it, isn't it?
And well, syphilis and encephalitis, they might be. I'm not sure. Although, isn't syphilis an STD?
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I could be wholly wrong on that.
I don't know.
So let me retract that, and we'll just say who knows.
Yeah. I mean, there are diseases out there with different names, so I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. Anyway, 1958, Royals, we got that one. 1958 as well. USSR performed atmospheric nuclear tests in Ground Zero, Semipalatinsk, Kazakhstan, of 36 total for the year of 1958. So in 1958 alone, Russia set off 36 nuclear devices in testing, and every nuke before 2000. I've referred to this video before and such, but this, I would strongly recommend watching this in your own time. But this goes.
Yeah, I've seen that. You showed it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes from the initial Trinity test, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then all the way up to 1990 as the months and years go by, and it shows all the different people, when and where and who is setting it off, and at the end, in total, let's see here, boom, we have the U.S., Russia, the UK, France, China, India, and Pakistan. But we also know Israel and North Korea are nuclear nations too, but those are not added to this video. But still, it's a really sombering sight to see it all compiled, in front of you. And it's no wonder why the world is all fucked up. We all have radiation everywhere. Everybody's screwed. 1959, Robert Foster set record by staying underwater 13 minutes 42 and a half seconds. And I wonder what the record is now. I didn't even realize you can stay underwater like that.
That's a long time.
Yeah. 1960, Key Largo Coral Reef Preserve, also known as John D. Pendelkamp Coral Reef State Park, established as first underwater park off the coast of Florida. And that's what this image is. Somebody at some point had put a Jesus statue in or something, and now you can see it's, corals attached to it. I think that's pretty cool. It's a nice little diving. You can see a diver back here. It's a cool place to go and explore. As opposed to that one, shark. Anybody with subnautic phobia or something like that. I want to go back. I remember, I think the record is 20 or 30 minutes holding breath underwater.
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. 61, Jaguar had William Lyons debut the first E-Type model at the Geneva International Motor Show, creating a sensation. All right, I'm going to look that up here really quick. Let's see here. Images. Just, it's a 1960s looking car. I'm going to start rattling things off here for the sake of time. 61, South Africa withdrew from the British Commonwealth. At the 1961 Commonwealth Prime Minister's Conference, South Africa announced that it will withdraw from the Commonwealth when the South African Constitution of 1961 comes into effect. The next year, Donald Jackson of Canada was the first to land a triple Lutz ice skate jump. 62 as well, 5 research groups announced the discovery of antimatter. In 62. We also have Will Chamberlain was the first to score 4,000 points in an NBA season. 65, TGI Fridays first restaurant opened in New York City, and from the looks of it, I'm not sure if it's still around. This colored photo still looks dated, but they, at least at the time,
the building, they didn't build the building.
No. Well, the building most likely would still be there, probably, I don't know. But the actual restaurant, especially, after the past several years here, that's... Actually, I think Fridays is gone. Ours is long gone. So I'm not sure if they're still around as a company.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson, responding to the Selma crisis, told U.S. Congress, "We shall overcome," while advocating the Voting Rights Act. 66, racial riots erupted in the Watts section in Los Angeles, California.
Big time. That's a mess.
Yeah. 67, Allied Forces Central Europe, AFCENT, headquarters moved from France to Bernstein in Netherlands. 1968, British Foreign Secretary George Brown resigned after having a drunken row with Prime Minister Harold Wilson. Come on, chap, you're supposed to be more professional than that. 1968, Diocese of Rome announced that it deplored the concept, but wouldn't prohibit rock and roll masses at Church of San Lesio Falconeri. Okay. 68 as well, Life magazine called Jimi Hendrix the most spectacular guitarist in the world. Absolutely,
He was talented.
Yeah. 68, U.S. Mint stopped buying and selling gold. That's an eyebrow raiser. 69, Anne McCaffrey made history as the first woman to win a Nebula Award, Best Novella, with her work Dragon Rider. All right.
I don't know what a Nebula Award is, but yeah.
Well, congratulations. She's getting recognized. 1969, violent Chinese-Russian border dispute left hundreds dead. And I always find this annoying, left 100s dead. It's like, why not just type in hundreds? 100S, 1970, Expo 1970 opened in Osaka, Japan. And Los Angeles out here, we're going to have a World's Fair and Expo here soon. And then also host an Olympics a year or so later.
Olympics.
Yeah.
88.
88.
Yeah. 28, I guess.
Yeah. I think the Expo or whatever is in 27. I'm not sure.
I don't know about that. I've never heard that.
I'm going to look this up here. World's Fair, Los Angeles. World's Fair, Los Angeles. Let's see if it comes out.
Next year, they're not preparing for it yet.
Well, no, they are. World Fair Festival. Hold on a second. Los Angeles coming soon. Let's see. The World's Fair is coming to Los Angeles right here. Let me bigger this. Yada yada. Historic World's Fair to Los Angeles in 2022. Oh, well, this is long ago. Well, I heard that something's still coming, so I don't know. Anyway, 1971, chat rooms made their debut on ARPANET, the predecessor to the Internet, the forerunner. So, now we have chat rooms on what will become the internet. The Godfather in 1972, based on the book by Mario Puzo, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, premiered in New York City, later received the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1973. 72, NASA selected 3-part configuration for the space shuttle. Okay. 77, TV comedy Three's Company, starring John Ritter, Suzanne Somers, and Joyce DeWitt, premiered on ABC in the U.S. This is what I was referencing to a while ago. Like, I don't even remember what I was talking about, but I was referencing this, and specifically the actor John Ritter.
Yeah.
We were talking about something, and I mentioned that, like, I was brought to the attention of Three's Company shortly after the death of John Ritter. Everybody on the TV, was going on about it and everything, and there was a whole special for, like, a whole month playing every episode of Three's Company on repeat or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
77.
His father was a great actor, Tex Ritter, cowboy movies.
Yeah. 1977, U.S. House of Representatives began a 90-day test of televising its sessions. 78, Oakland A's trade pitcher Vida Blue to San Francisco Giants for 7 players and $390,000. Vida Blue.
Yeah.
So, one guy for 7 players in cash. He's valuable.
I would have kept him.
I would have
That
too.
good.
Yeah. 1981, Broadway Follies opened and closed at Nederlander Theater in New York City.
That's not good.
I guess it was a folly. 1982, actress Teresa Saladana was stabbed repetitively by an obsessed fan. Poor lady. 1982 as well, Nicaragua suspended their citizens' rights for 30 days. That isn't good. And I hear Trump is apparently talking about possibly suspending habeas corpus or something. I don't know.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know. I've been hearing murmurings. 84, Tanzania adopted a constitution. All right. And 85, the first internet domain name, symbolics.com, was registered. Cool. 1986, collapse of Hotel New World. 33 people died when the Hotel New World in Singapore collapsed. Now, I just realized that's very interesting. New World Order, 33, Freemasonry. I wonder if there's some kind of conspiracy behind that. If anybody's a numerologist and a conspiracy theorist like myself. 88, Eugene Marino of Atlanta appointed the first black stadium archbishop. All right. Yeah. We also have NASA reported accelerated breakdown of ozone layer by CFK. That sounds like crap. 88 as well, NFL's St. Louis Cardinals officially moved to Phoenix. Okay. 89, NHL New York Rangers retired goalie Eddie Gaosomi's #1 uniform. 89 as well, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs officially established as a cabinet position. All right. 90s now, Mikhail Gorbachev was elected as the first president of the Soviet Union. So this was after they got rid of the general secretary, I guess, position or whatever. So this was he became president, but then in a few years there was not going to be any president or Soviet Union. 91, 91, 4 officers of the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department, were charged with excessive force over the beating of Rodney King.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely were using excessive force. But what a lot of people don't talk about is what started the entire event. I mean, the response was overreaction, like too much. Yeah. But not every ass king falls out of the sky. Rodney King was doing stuff that nobody talks about. He was not an innocent little Aladdin just standing there and a bunch of cops just jumped him. That didn't happen,
The irony is he never had a problem with it. I'm sure he didn't like getting his butt kicked, but he came out all bruised up. And,
well, of course.
Everybody calm down, not the end of the world. I'll give him that.
Yeah. 91, territories of Amapá and Roraima became states of Brazil. Cool, because we cover U.S. states all the time. Might as well give Brazil some love, every now and then. But now, during the Cold War, the Treaty of the Final Settlement with respect to Germany came into effect, granting full sovereignty to the Federal Republic of Germany. Cool, yeah. 92, UN officially embarked on its largest peacekeeping operation. Doing what, where, when, why, how? What else isn't? It's just blanket whatever statement. 93, in a landmark case, Mohammed Tabet, police commissioner of Casablanca, was convicted of sexually abusing over 1,500 women and sentenced to death. How do you even physically do that? I mean, not morally, it was just how do you do that physically, go through that many people, to abuse? That blows my mind. I don't think I've even met that many people in my life, let alone... I've never abused any one of them.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Clarify yourself there.
Christ. So, 94, experts from American League certified the Cleveland Indians' Jacobs Field was properly lit. Okay, cool. 1997, Pitt's Penguins' Joe Mullen became the first stadium to score 500 National Hockey League goals. Cool. 2001, finally in the next millennium, home stretch here.
First quarter of it.
The world's, over the first quarter. The world's largest oil rig located off Brazil and operated by Petrobras suffered 3 explosions. That's not good. 2003, Recep Tayyip Erdogan became Prime Minister of Turkey after his political ban was lifted and he entered parliament by winning a by-election. Okay. 2004, announcement of the discovery of 90377 Sedna, the farthest natural object in the solar system so far observed. And I think we found some other things even farther out than that. So, 2008, stockpiles of obsolete ammunition exploded at an ex-military ammunition depot in the village of Geradek, Albania, killing 26 people. Yikes. You gotta take care of your ammo there, buddy. 2011, beginning of the Syrian Civil War. Yep, in which Gaddafi gets Gaddafi. Wait, was he Syria or he was Libya? Libya, okay. I keep confusing him with Syria. 2013, 16 people were killed. 16 people were killed by a fireworks accident in Tlaxcala, Mexico. Makes me count my lucky stars after going into the secret room, back in the day we used to go down to Mexico every now and then when I was a kid.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
26.
I love secret rooms.
Yeah.
Little kid with a big mouth.
Yeah. I'm just a big kid with a big mouth, 2016, Google's DeepMind artificial intelligence won Go challenge against Lee Sedol 4-1. So even 10 years ago, I mean they've been working on AI forever, but here we go. Like, think about it though. Like with how it is today, I wonder how this was. Like I want to do a comparison. Actually, like I really do. Anybody out there watching, if you have the time and you know how to do it, make a comparison of whatever this AI from 2016 can do, and compare that with whatever it can do with how ours can do the same thing but later. Better. 10 years. I want to know the progress a decade made.
Oh,
so
I don't think it's measurable. It's so advanced.
Well, I mean, I'd like to. I'd still like to see. 2017, Disney refuses to cut gay moment in film Beauty and the Beast from Malaysian censors. Instead, pull the film from Malaysia entirely. Oh, but they have no issue removing other things like white people, heterosexuality, traditional values. They bend the knee to China all the time. So friggin' Disney is satanic.
I saw Beauty and the Beast, as I recall. I don't recall any gay.
This was the remake, the live action.
Oh, okay.
And there was. I don't recall there being a gay thing, but I never saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of the animation, the cartoon. Yeah. No, this is the new one. This is 2017. There's a live action. Okay. Disney's been going through, because Disney's just crap. They've literally been going through their entire catalog and doing live action. They did a live action of The Lion King for whatever reason, because they're already normal animals. They did a live action remake of Mulan. They did it of Lilo and Stitch. They did it of Beauty and the Beast across the board. The whole thing with Sleeping Beauty, with that Zellweger, whatever the hell her name was, that Indian bitch who was very awful. Yeah. Yeah. Like going on about how she hates white people and everything on Twitter. Just gross human being. I mean, it can't, the way she acts ain't human, that's for sure. 2018, more than 12,000 people fled Hamoria at Easter Ghouta, Syria, after the town was bombarded. That would cause it. A pedestrian bridge in Miami, Florida collapsed onto an 8-lane highway 5 days after it was built, killing 6 people. In 2018, that's unacceptable. Yeah. In the United States, at that time, that's just whoever it was, like everybody behind this bridge, people's heads need to roll, because there's no reason why something like that should happen in the United States.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah. 2018, Slovakia's Prime Minister... I mean, in China, that would make sense, but in the United States, no. Anyway, 2018, Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico resigned amid crisis after the murder of a journalist, Jan Kuciak, investigating mafia connections. Toy chain Toys R Us announced it will close all of its stores after filing for bankruptcy.
That was a fun store.
It was, I don't want to wake up. I'm a Toys R Us... Actually, no, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
No.
Yeah, I was a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did grow up, despite me not wanting to. But it is inevitable,
Really? Have you
Mr.
grown
Anderson.
Have you grown up?
Well, I mean, if anything, I've regressed up here. So, like, 2019, climate change strikes held by school children took place around the world, inspired by Swedish teenager Greta Thunberg. And Little Miss, how dare you?
Yeah.
Approximately 1.4 million young people in 123 countries go on strike to protest climate change. Bunch of brainwashed children who should have no business voicing any opinion because they don't even know what an opinion is.
Yeah.
Like, they need to focus on going outside, playing in the mud, having a childhood, experiencing life, not worrying about frickin' politics. You'll have the rest of your life to do that. And relish what you have now. It's stupid. And all the parents are just awful for letting them do this. Yeah. 2019, terrorist attack on 2 mosques by a right-wing Australian gunman killed 51 and wounded an additional 50 in Christchurch, New Zealand. Yeah,
I remember that.
And I also remember the more recent shooting in whatever that beach was called in Australia by the Muslim guy shooting up a whole bunch of Jews.
That was last year sometime, wasn't it?
Not even a year. It's been just months. That was over the last summer. That was
last year. That's what I'm saying.
Almost been a year now, actually. Yeah. 2019, the vessel, a honeycomb viewing structure designed by Thomas Heathwig, opened at Hudson Yards Development, New York City. And the beginning of the 2019-2020 Hong Kong protests. Those were squished, miserably. 2020, 5 years, 5 years, left in the show here. U.S. Federal Reserve slashed interest rates to near zero to support the economy during the Kung Flu pandemic. Gee, how nice. 2021, AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine halted in Germany, France, and Italy, joining some other countries despite little evidence of unusual blood clotting. Now, I want to point out once again, our source is leftist, and pay attention to the way that was written. Despite little evidence, almost insinuating that this was unnecessary. Well, I mean, like if you're gonna be proactive and let's not hesitant, but smart about things in one way, but not smart in the others, just because it doesn't coincide with your agenda, then you don't believe what you spout. You're just full of shit. Like, and once again, I brought this up a while ago. LeBron James' own son had this. That one guy who just collapsed on the football thing. Yeah. Thank goodness, there was medical professionals. But I mean, despite little evidence, my ass. Take your propaganda and shove it.
Yeah, that football
leftists
was really lucky to live.
Yeah.
And they do have ambulance and the whole thing right on the sidelines, ready to go.
But people need to just start just talking about the truth. To hell with cancel culture, to hell with the authoritative system, to hell with YouTube and with Google, with their censorship. 2021, Deb Haaland confirmed as U.S. Secretary of the Interior by the Senate, first Native American to lead a cabinet agency. Now, I'm wondering, are they a true Native? Or are they half Native, quarter Native? Like, are they some bullshit, like 0.23% Cherokee so they can occupy the check mark on the DEI hire list? How true-blooded is he, Native? I want to know. If he really is, then congratulations. But if you're one of those, I'm 0.3% friggin' Ajanawanakan, well, go F yourself. 2021, largest sandstorm in northern Chile in a decade engulfed Beijing, turning air pollution levels hazardous. Yep. 2021 as well, mass march for justice rallies held across Australia to protest against violence and discrimination towards women. All right. We've been covering that over the past couple of days, marching and stuff, for women's rights, this, that, and all that stuff. So, 2021, it's like women's rights season or something. It's interesting. The Vatican issued judgment that priests cannot bless same-sex unions, that God, quote, does not and cannot bless them, or bless sin, end quote. Well, yeah, at least they're sticking to their guns in some aspects. 2022, the 2022 Sri Lankan protests began amidst Sri Lanka's economic collapse. 2 years ago, another atmospheric river created a storm across California, bringing widespread flooding and power outages, with Monterey County issuing a 25-mile evacuation order. Yeah, wasn't that when we had all that flooding and everything, and then they just let all the water just run right into the ocean to ensure that we have nothing in the reservoir in the event of a fire burning, and then we lost the entire Palisades. Almost as if everything was planned. Kind of convenient for them, you know? So, 2024, first ship arrived in Gaza to deliver aid from Cyprus amidst a deteriorating humanitarian crisis. And we also have former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence stated, quote, he cannot in good conscience, end quote, endorse Donald Trump for president in an interview on Fox News. Okay, whatever, Mr. Pinocchio. So, 2025, Serbia's largest ever rally was held in Belgrade with 325,000 protesting against the government, fueled by the deadly collapse of the Novi Sad railway station. 2 articles left. U.S. launched airstrikes on Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen, killing at least 53 people, after the militia group said they would resume attacks on Israeli ships, or shipping. And this was during the Suez Canal thing when they were, harassing things. Mm-hmm. And we're just like, you sure you want to be here? And they're like, we don't think we want to be here. We changed their mind real quick.
Yeah.
So, and last but not least, I saved this one especially for you.
Thank you.
WPL cricket final, Bredborn Stadium, Mumbai. Mumbai Indians claim second title with 8-run win over Delhi Capitals. Player of the match, Hermatspurt Kaur, Michigan, or MI, 66-44.
Thank you.
I just had to throw that in there.
Left a bad taste in my mouth when we left.
And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things interesting, to all things Omni Coalition, all that stuff. These links will be down there momentarily. It is a lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis, so we can only bring you a portion for more. Please check the sources for more. For all of you and all of us, we do the show every day at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. I'm Xander.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU. Until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs. And subscribe. Toodles. There and in here.